We should not...
Maybe I should ask the crow.
I will never tire of sitting on dead men's thrones. My blood ran hot when we broke Ketheric's bones together. But we have greater challenges ahead of us. It is clear now that he was not working alone. During my time in the cult, I came to know one of his co-conspirators all too well. Baal's bloodletter. Orin. To think, I thought her to be speaking for the Absolute. I worshipped that woman. Jealous? You needn't be. When Orin is in my hands, her agony will nourish me. She is the Iblis who indoctrinated me with the Absolute's lies. She is fierce, vicious, and cruel. In those respects, we are alike. But she is dangerously unpredictable. If there is a way to turn this design towards slaughter, rather than control, she will take it. She is the one who brought me to Moonrise, and into the presence of her so-called god. The Absolute. Now I know that those memories are lies. There was no god. Orin held me down in a cocoon of flesh, while a mind flayer forced a parasite into my brain. And she laughed at my fear. I will find her. I will murder her. And I will smile. It is as if you read my mind. Perhaps you did. In killing Ketheric, we fractured the cult's leadership. When we break the other Chosen and claim their Netherstones, we can take control. I expected you would be, but know this. What I propose is nigh on impossible, but if anyone can succeed, it is us. We have the prism, and we have the courage to slay gods. We may fail, but we must try. The power of the enslaved Elder Brain could reshape the world. We could reshape the world. And then we will need no gods. We will be their equal. We will be absolute. We have a purpose and a bond. By my oath, I will fight with you, while that purpose holds. There is yet one thing about you that troubles me, though. Something I need you to explain. Why come to Moonrise, where the cult's power is strongest? Why not walk away? Good. That is as it should be. Now, I am ready to leave this damned place whenever you give the word. The city awaits. You wish to consult me? I was the Absolute's dagger. I remember every throat that it held me to, and every drop of blood it forced me to spill. I take no responsibility for the lives I took. I did nothing in the Absolute's name. I was merely a weapon that it wielded. I would rather die than endure it again. The tadpole, the Absolute. They work together like a drug. I did not feel I was compelled to act against my will. I felt ecstatic to serve. Every action seemed a deliberate choice. The best choice. Even though I could no more have resisted its commands than flesh can resist decay. Even rational minds like ours cannot reject such a powerful influence. The Absolute can make the impossible seem inevitable. I take no pleasure in his passing. Whatever faults he may have had, Ketheric was a great leader. Life was crueler to him than death. It is no great wonder that he found his strength in Merkel. I believe he was an honorable man, but the gods used him as their plaything. First, Shah and her sister, then the three behind the Absolute. I sympathize. It is a sharp mind that feels sympathy for one who suffers unnecessarily, not a soft heart. I saw strength in Ketheric that had been diluted by pain, but I will never forgive him for handing me to Orin. For that, I hope Merkel hollows out his bones and lets them be dust. I took up my oath long ago, when I swore bloody vengeance against any who defied Lolth. Now, I myself have sinned against the Spider Queen. Though my faith is shattered, my oath endures. I am sworn to destroy all those who serve the Absolute. When I have had my vengeance on the cult, I do not know if my oath will still hold. I do know that when I take the Absolute's power, I will not lose control of it as our enemies have. I will harness it to create a more perfect world. Any who object to the laws of that world will have no place in it, of course, and I will gladly eradicate them. A disparate collection of vagabonds and strays. Did you have anyone particular in mind? It would have been better for us had she embraced Shah and claimed the power of the goddess. But it is better for Shadowheart to be free of that poisonous influence. The very concept of Sharan worship is self-indulgent. They would have you think every whispered word and hidden thought is of value, but it is not so. I have performed 1,000 interrogations, squeezing out the most guarded secrets held in heart, mind, and soul. I can tell you this. When the trivial parts have been whittled away and I have sifted through what remains, in most cases, a person amounts to nothing at all. He's been deprived of freedom and strong blood for so long that he is addicted to both. While those addictions have their hold on him, he is still a slave. No. He is well aware that I would exsanguinate him entirely if he flashed his fangs at me. And while you live, you'll be enslaved to your appetites and hungers. We all feed on something, and if we are deprived of it, we will fight for it. But Astarion is not only bound to his needs and desires, he is still bound to something more powerful. His master. He will only be free when Cazador is dead. And that is as it should be. When the time comes, we must hope that he does not only take Cazador's long life, but the power that has sustained him as well. I have encountered few Githyanki in my life. Those that I did were raiders. They croaked out pleas for mercy in their alien tongue as they died. Meeting Lae'zel makes me wish I knew more of their culture. To one who only sees the surface of things, perhaps. You should look deeper. There is a fanaticism, in the Lolth swarm that lends itself to chaos. They turn their blades on one another as readily as on outsiders. The Gith have stricter hierarchies and stronger commitment to a single cause. Some, like Lae'zel, question that cause. But even so, she retains the discipline of her training. The wizard? No. Their mastery of the weave is commendable, but they are poor conversationalists. In my experience, they do not usually live long enough to make the effort of befriending them worthwhile. Either the enemy recognizes they are a threat and kills them swiftly, or their curiosity leads them to combust while experimenting with the limits of magic. Our wizard is already in a state of suspended combustion, thanks to that orb between his ribs. I suspect it is only a matter of time before he goes up in smoke. I will reserve my social graces for those who might live long enough to appreciate them. He is exceedingly self-righteous. Amusing, considering he bound himself to a devil. Will doesn't just have blood and dirt on his hands. He has stains on his soul. Those last more than a lifetime. It is as it should be. Purity of soul and deed will not help us to survive the Absolute. I would rather be allied with a warlock than the spoiled son of a noble who has more experience with diplomats than devils. He would despise me if he had the wits to understand me. But as long as he believes we have a common cause, he does not see beyond that. I enjoy his simplicity. Oloth help me. Sometimes I almost envy it. If I did not have my schemes, I would hardly know where to aim my boot. As we saw when he acted as the Stone Lord, Minsc is a dangerous tool. A powerful weapon without a mind to guide it. His righteous rage has been directed at my people in the past, and it can be as brutal and merciless as any act committed by the Drow. Fortunately, for now, he punches wherever we point, and serves our needs well. She is intelligent, strong, and capable as both a leader and a fighter. An impressive woman. It is a shame that she devotes all of her talents and experience to the futile cause of the Harpers. Their devotion to preserving balance is pathetic. It is precisely because they are perceived as good that they are so dangerous. Their intentions do more harm to the world than any warmonger could. They fear change, and would rather maintain mediocrity than face the risks and challenges that progress demands. I would rather break the world and build it anew than be satisfied with its imperfections. I have never known anyone so ferocious and unassailable in battle, and yet so fragile and impermanent in their very being. I often think of mortality as a curse. In time, all that I am and all that I have known and learned will be lost. In time, our cities will be dust. Karlach does not seem to have such anxieties. Perhaps because she cannot afford to. She exists in the moment, and she will burn out and be gone in a moment. There is something very beautiful about that. A true soul came to my city preaching a message of togetherness, accompanied by 2 novices. Menzoberranzan is not fertile ground for such messages. I killed them and hanged their bodies in my garden. I would have picked prettier corpses if my intentions had been aesthetic. This was a warning against heresy. I was not content with the warning, though. I intended to wage war on their insolent god and the rest of its followers. Even as the flesh sagged and sloughed away from their eyeless skulls, their audacity infuriated me. I had to know where they came from. And whoever sent them was counting on my curiosity overcoming my caution. Yes. All it took was a simple act of necromancy, and the corpses told me where I needed to strike. Moonrise Towers. Despite Ketheric's best efforts, so are we. And we shall outlast the immortal general and his tower. But he had the upper hand when we first met. I was arrogant enough to believe I had the better of him. As it turned out, to my shame, I was defeated without even drawing my weapon. I came to Moonrise with a retinue of warriors and assassins, the best House Bainray had to offer. I expected a battle, but found a fully laden feast table and a welcome befitting a house matron. Ketheric expected us, expected me, and I fell for his flattery. Perhaps I deserved what came after the welcome as well. Ketheric proposed an alliance between Moonrise and Menzoberranzan. I admit I was captivated by him. He invited me to the head of his table as his guest of honor. I was wary, of course. If I had been in his position, the food would have been poisoned. It was not the food I should have been wary of. It was the pale woman at the foot of the table. Orin the Red. We had barely begun to eat when she spoke for the first time. I only caught one word, my name. Then, quick as lightning, she climbed onto the table, a dagger in each hand, and skipped toward me, slicing the throats out of my men as she passed them. Few things frighten me. Orin is one of them. Ketheric held me still, his hand on my shoulder, the grip tight enough to crack the bone. When Orin stood before me, she touched the dagger to my eye, drawing out a tear of blood. "I want this one," she said. Ketheric nodded his permission, and I was taken below. You've seen the horrors of the colony. Orin kept me there for days. She forced me to watch as my men were processed. Some for food, others as thralls. And then she placed the tadpole in my eye herself. That is certain. You know the rest as well as I do. There were massacres before the Grove. Religious communities, mostly. Those who refused to convert. Then there was you, and now there is freedom. Soon there will be vengeance. You wish to consult me?
As you approach Minthara, you feel her mind reaching out to yours, tentative and curious. Then it retreats, soft as a whisper.
Sorry. Old habits. A feeling. When we first met, before Moonrise, I intruded on your thoughts without hesitation and took what I needed from your memories. I would not do that again, unless I had reason to think you were hiding something from me. And I do not. I did not think we would ever share anything more than an uneasy alliance, born of our mutual enmity for the Absolute. I was wrong. A deeper bond has grown between us. I trust you. But I would like to touch your thoughts again, now that my mind is my own. May I? Curiosity. Until my time in the cult of the Absolute, I had spent little time on the surface, except to raid and pillage. I did not expect to find any outside the Underdark who saw the world as I do, and wanted from the world what I want. I did not expect you. I have been told that I am special since my mother first held me in her arms. The burden of expectation. Before the Absolute, I lived a life of certainties. I knew that I was destined for greatness because I was born to it. I also knew that my inherited privilege came with a cost. That the bonds of fellowship and family could be broken by envy and ambition. I could not enjoy the taste of food for fear of poisoning, and I could not enjoy the company of lovers and friends because I feared they hid knives behind their smiles. In spite of the danger, I was happy. I knew myself, and I understood the world around me. Now, nothing is certain. Without Lolth, without the Absolute, without my home, I do not know myself. But you do, I think. Show me myself through your eyes. Let me see what I am to you.
She joins her thoughts with yours, and you are as one. You share in her strength of mind and formidable will, but also the doubts that eat at her conviction. Those doubts cluster in swarms, and the thickest is around her sense of self. She pushes past, revealing the image of her you hold in your mind. What does she see? The cold shell of Minthara's mind melts away, and you are drawn into the heart of her. Warm, passionate, and dangerous.
I have never lacked confidence, but this conflict seems so much bigger than the two of us. It frightens me. I do not know if we will survive it. But whatever life remains to us, I would gladly spend it fighting at your side, and lying with you at night.
Her mind touches yours, feather light and hesitant. A stark contrast to the confidence with which her thoughts intruded on yours in the past.
Tonight, there will be no voices, no orders, no gods. I belong only to you. It does not surprise me that Shadowheart's faith was based on a lie. Deception is the sum of Shah's design. I do not understand why the patriarchs of the city do not open their gates to the refugees. I was not suggesting they be allowed to roam free. They should be put to work. The city needs laborers and fodder to protect it. Yes. And if they work hard enough for long enough, the city might allow them to earn their freedom one day. Murder, oppression, conspiracies. This city has its charms, after all. My mother visited during one of her grand tours of the surface world. She claimed the streets were almost as varied and full of danger as those in Duthcloim. I never believed her until now. I am not on edge. I am alert, as you should be too. Orin could be anywhere, could be anyone.
Despite her protestations to the contrary, it is clear that Minthara is afraid.
doubt it. Her father is murder incarnate, and she is a devoted daughter. To please Baal, she would butcher the world. She has the scent of our blood, and she will tease and toy until she tires of the hunt. Then she will obliterate us without a second thought. We need to watch over each other, now more than ever. From the still, dark waters of Lake Donegarten to the black academies of Tierbresh, it is a city of wonders and terror. But it is not my home anymore. If I were to return, I would be denied all of its wonders and shown only the terror. For my people, to reject Lolth is to reject life. I am an apostate and would be executed. Though I am proud, I prefer exile to death. I am a daughter of Menzoberranzan's most ancient and powerful house, the Bainray. I lived a life of privilege and danger. My home was at the tallest point of Cuel Arzol, the place of the nobles, a plateau high above the city's sprawl. I enjoyed every luxury, whether harvested in the Underdark or stolen from the surface, and I survived my first assassination attempt while I still suckled at my mother's breast. I tasted her blood that day. She covered my body with her own, and a blade bit deep into her chest, almost puncturing her heart. When I came of age, she tried to take my life herself, and I gave her fresh scars to match those she earned protecting me. I expect so. If the world were to end, I think my mother would survive to rule over the ruins. She taught me to be resilient, and to guard my heart from those who cannot be trusted, literally and figuratively. When I choose to let somebody close, I do not do so lightly. That gives a great depth of meaning to the bonds I do share. We will need every advantage to survive the battles that are to come, and my illithid parasite has already shown its worth. If this superior tadpole is capable of unlocking my mind's full potential, it is a tempting proposition. I am surprised you have not drawn on its power yourself. As you should. When I am stronger, we are stronger. Yes. I only know it through history books and hearsay. A city of murder and grief. I expect it will live up to its legend.
By the ninth hell of Beator, what devil must have possessed us that we'd move against Gortash? We could have walked away, strategized, considered our options. We could have lied. Instead, we painted the audience hall with my father's blood. I think we should have tamed our rage, not fed it, wet its claws and set it loose.
A moment passes. Your link to Will fades.
What becomes of the Blade of Frontiers when he slays the man he vowed to save? What pride should this city have for a son who kills its brightest star?
Vengeance is a bitter pill for kind souls. I pity Karlak that she could not savor Gortash's death. For her sake, we should not. And besides, celebrations can come later. Our fight is not over yet. He is rather fond of himself. If he truly intends to be the savior of Baldur's Gate, perhaps he has reason to be. Even if I personally faced down the army of the Absolute and drove it from the city single-handedly, I would not be welcomed as a savior. No matter what I do, the people of Baldur's Gate will always see me as an enemy. I do not want to be tolerated. I want to be feared. Don't you? When we have all 3 Netherstones and control the Elder Brain, all of Faerun will have reason to fear us.
Hi. Could we...
I would rather share my camp with goblins again.
But... I won't make it that long on my own. I don't have any stuff. But I can cook! Thank you. I won't get in the way, I promise. I brought my own pair. What a waste of good flesh.
Look at it, crawling and sniffing and rooting around in the filth. Is it my netherstone you seek, little piggy? Hush, hush. Orin will take care of you and your little pet. So eager to feel me drain its life away. Dull wits, dull blade. You are not yet ready. I could peel a fine pelt from the mutt I caught sniffing at your heels. Drag skin from flesh, from bone. I will not slice. Her kind die too easily. The Murder Lord demands a better offering. Something new, sticky, sweet, and delicious. He wants you. The Murder Lord does not need permission to kill. Gortash's tyrant blood has cured your hide. You are almost fit for Baal's blade at last. But first, you must be cleansed, bathed in the Murder Lord's sight. You must face his tribunal, seek Grandfather's blessing. Only then will you be permitted to return. Refuse, and I will slick Baal's sanctum with your plaything sacrifice instead. We will be waiting for you, chosen killer.
On your guard. Who knows how long that slip-skinned serpent was hiding in our camp? She might have been your pillow. Or Minsk's pillow. Or Jaheira's pillow. Please be serious, friend. She can mimic a form, yes, but not a hamster's obvious charisma. But perhaps she was his pillow? No matter. Things are not so dire. Yes, Orin has taken little Yenna, but she is relying on us to save her. And so that is what we are going to do. Simple enough, no? So let us be about it.
I only survived Orin's sadistic games because she allowed me to. Even if we find her soon, I doubt the child Yenna will be in one piece.
Raphael can beg for a deal all he wants. The crown will be ours.
I do not want a devil to hold my fate in his hands any more than a god. I say we put the devil from our minds and trust in ourselves. If anyone should have the power of the crown, it should be us.
I smell it. Gortash's corpse stain. His killer approaches. You knew the Murder Lord could not be denied his meat. But Saravok's crimson was not yours to spill. He was mine. You had no right to take him. Oh, did it think it could protect? Did it think it could save? Only the blades can offer salvation. Yes, yes, give me agony! Pluck me bone from socket! Stroke me with a jagged edge until my skin shreds wet and red. A sharp lamb to be sacrificed. But your cruelty makes the crimson sweeter. Your murder should have been exquisite. A crypt-born effigy to greet Baal's bleeding dawn. And now it will be nothing! Come to me, Father. Set my flesh to your unholy purpose!
A metallic tang fills the air as the Slayer's form is drained of life. Ashes to ashes, blood to blood, you have robbed another god of his chosen.
Hard to believe she is dead, after all that she did to me. I do not often doubt myself. But surviving Orin took courage and strength I was not sure I had. I could not have faced her without you. You are trying to raise my spirits. I appreciate it, but any joy the sight of Orin's corpse brings me is but a speck of comforting shade. There is little relief to be found from the heat of the storm we are caught in. While the brain is still free, and we are still infected, we will never be safe. But we can talk of this later. For now, let us be glad that we still draw breath, and that Orin does not.
When we return to the surface, there is no telling what carnage the brain will have wrought. We must be ready for all-out war. No. If this is to be our end, we will die together. But do not think of endings. Think of the glorious battle to come, and rejoice that we have a part in it. We are in the midst of a battle against a being that can kill worlds with a thought. And we are still standing. I am faring exceptionally well, given the circumstances. I know that we can. If you have doubts, rid yourself of them. They are infectious.
Impossible. Pain. Fear. Terror. Reconsider. Assess. Implore.
At last, it is subdued.
Spare me. Join me. Wield me. Become absolute!
And thus, I honor my mother's legacy. The grand design, once again, ended by my line.
The brain is on the cusp of its final thought, and it's taking all of Orpheus's strength to keep it there. An opportunity, perhaps.
This is the moment, my love. The moment in which we make a new world for ourselves. You are glorious, my love. You have never been more beautiful.
Together. Conquer. Rule. Command!
In my name.
My master. I must obey. I must end.
Hopes, nightmares, and the screams of legions upon legions of unborn illithids. The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Your tadpole burns in your brain. Silence. For the first...
The world wakes to a new dawn, and we are here to greet it. Not as conquerors, but as saviors. Yes, I would like that. No more gods or monsters, no devils or demons to manipulate our fate. We reclaimed our freedom, though everything was against us. What would you do with it? I would have preferred to claim the whole world when we had the chance, but Baldur's Gate is not a bad place to start. We can put the Gondians back to work, rebuild the Steel Watch, and march to Waterdeep with an unstoppable army at our back and a song of conquest on our lips. The Sword Coast will be our battlefield, and Baldur's Gate will be the founding city of a new dynasty. My name belongs to my mother, so our house will have a new name, your name, and the world will learn to fear it. But we can look to the future tomorrow, or the day after. Today, let us think only of ourselves in this moment. We have won a lifetime together.
In the 6 months since the Netherbrain fell, you and Minthara have set so many schemes in motion that it is hard to keep track of them.
Yes, my love. Are you done talking to your friends? Can we leave? I think not. They may respect me or fear me, but I do not think they like me. What makes me so? My quick wit, my cold heart, my cutting insights. In truth, I have never enjoyed parties, although they do present the perfect opportunity for a poisoning. Taste my lips. They are already laced with toxins. None shall be spared tonight, not even you. Now go. Mingle, carouse, indulge. We will need all of our strength. I always have strength enough for you. Do not make me wait long. I would kill for a glass of Ulava wine.